Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a topic that's really a couple things shoved together, but we're going to pry them apart in order to understand one of America's most pivotal counterculture movements. So today, it's the Beat Generation versus the Beatniks. When you think Beatniks, you know the picture that comes to your mind. The berets, black turtlenecks, bongos, gallons of espresso, and some snapping fingers in a smoke-filled coffee house. And listen, those images aren't entirely wrong, but they represent a watered-down, very commercialized version of something far more profound, because the original movement, the Beat Generation, was a genuine social, literary, and cultural revolution. It emerged in the late 40s, really hit its stride in the 50s. Social comment authors and their work, like Jack Kerouac with On the Road, Allen Ginsberg with Howl, William Burroughs with Naked Lunch, were deeply disillusioned by the post-war American conformity that had manifested itself as the suburbs, consumerism, conservatism, and all the other rigid social norms. They sought a different path. They explored spiritual Eastern philosophies. They experimented with drugs to expand consciousness. And they wrote with a raw stream of consciousness that broke all the rules of poetry and literature. Their world was further inspired by the bebop jam sessions of Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker, and the abstract expressionism of artists like Jackson Pollock, Helen Frankenthaler, Willem de Kooning, and Joan Mitchell. Their goal was authenticity, a rejection of square society, and works like Kerouac's On the Road weren't just stories, they were manifestos, a search for meaning outside the norm. They were rebels with a cause, challenging the very fabric of acceptable American life. But then, Madison Avenue in Hollywood stepped in. And the media, ever eager to categorize, capitalize, and sell, saw a potential here immediately. Knowing that things which challenge the norm are typically first met with fear and rejection by the masses, the producers and ad men went into their dance. Here's how we package this thing. We make it a caricature, a cartoon, and we make fun of it. And so the Beatnik was born. The term itself was coined by San Francisco columnist Herb Caen in 1958, blending beat with the recent Russian satellite Sputnik, implying that they were really out there. Aliens, man, and certainly un-American. The complex ethos of the Beats was stripped down to a few recognizable, easily marketable tropes. The berets, the bongo drums, pseudo-intellectualism. Suddenly, you could buy Beatnik fashion, listen to Beatnik records, and watch Beatnik characters on TV. The radical message got diluted into a mere style, a fad. It was commercialization 101. In a last laugh, though, artist Ted Jones and Village Voice photographer Frank McDara came up with a rent a Beatnik business where a genuine Beatnik would come to your party in Manhattan rented by the hour. It was a huge success. And this phenomenon where a genuine counterculture movement gets co-opted and commercialized sure ain't nothing new. American history is actually rich with these cycles stretching back to before the Civil War. I could cite the Transcendentalists of the 1830s and 1840s, where Emerson and Thoreau rejected materialism and sought spiritual connection with nature, advocating individualism and civil disobedience. And then fast forward to the late 19th and early 20th century with the Bohemians in Greenwich Village, artists, writers, and radicals who eschewed Victorian morality and bourgeois lifestyle, instead embracing free love and socialist ideas. And then there were the nature boys of Topanga Canyon and Palm Springs in the 1930s who lived quite literally off the land, foraging for food and rejecting almost all clothing. And of course, we can't forget the hippies of the 60s and 70s, directly influenced by the Beats. They expanded with themes of peace, love, environmentalism, anti-establishment lifestyles, and anti-war protests. Also, the Black Panthers demanding civil rights and implementing such dangerous programs like free breakfasts for school children. Even in more recent times, we've seen punk rock and later grunge start out as genuine underground movements challenging norms before being picked up, polished up, and sold back to the masses. The original edge gets dulled, the radical message softened. And the story of the Beat generation and the Beatniks is a reminder of this pattern. It highlights the constant tension between authentic expression and commercialization. So the next time you see someone wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt or you hear a classic rock song in a truck commercial, remember that initial spark of rebellion and how easily it gets repackaged. So what do you think? Are there modern counterculture movements you see undergoing this same transformation, or are we finally getting too smart to fall for it? Let me know in the comments below. And in the spirit of socialism, I have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description box where you can make a contribution that helps me to bring you more content. Until the next time, my friends, stay your radical selves.